Dave, first, just Clayton Kershaw in his sim game. What did you see from him, and do you feel like this was a good step and a good sign for next to be activation?
I think it was a good step. I haven't talked to him yet, but just kind of with my eyes, it was good to see him get up and down 3 times. That was a positive. I thought the fastball was fine, slider fine. I think the curveball wasn't sharp today, but I think the main thing was just to kind of see how it looked as far as getting him up and down a few times. So we accomplished what we wanted to. What the next step is, I think that's really contingent on how he comes out of it, whether it's just activate him, whether it's go out there and face some hitters to go 4 innings. So I don't know that answer right now. It's just a conversation I'm going to have with Clayton and the staff.
What do you need to hear from Clayton as well as the staff for the next decision to be activation?
I think a lot of it is kind of Clayton just being, honest with how he feels. And I think that given, his track record, the respect we have for him, and just trust that. So I don't know that answer yet, but I do believe, like I've said all along, is that he's going to drive this.
Hey Dave, with all the technology you guys have at your disposal, does it make it easier to be able to trust what Kershaw may tell you with matching up what the stuff look like?
I think in one sense, yes, but in the other sense, it's still hard to replicate being in a major league game, facing players in another uniform, that adrenaline and what that means, whether it's better fastball quality or a better slide. I don't know. I don't think you can quantify that. I do know that it's not the same as pitching in a major league game. So I think it just goes back to if he feels good with whatever step that is, we're going to support it.
When you say feel good, is that more physically? I know, like he's talking about, he hasn't felt a lot of pain, or is it more just like how the ball was coming out today?
I think I would say more physically, and then you sort of bet on the compete, how the ball's coming out, and then the execution.
Has he been asymptomatic still?
He's been asymptomatic still, yes.
So if he comes through this still asymptomatic, is that enough for you guys to activate him? Or?
If he says it, he could also say, I feel good, but I want to build up a little bit more. Right. So to take on a major league game, feeling better about going in, having more of a build up.
Was that third up a nice surprise, or was that kind of the plan going?
It was more of, I thought it was going to be 2 innings, and so I think it was a nice surprise as far as him feeling like good enough to go back out there and take on that third up.
And then what's going on with Mookie?
So Mookie, last night you saw there was a ball that came at his head, and he did a little matrix move to get out of the way, and the right ankle gave way a little bit. So it's day-to-day. There was some minor swelling, soreness. So just in talking to the trainer, just felt that it was probably best to just give him today.
Any sort of testing or anything?
Nothing, no kind of examination testing, but physical stuff like that we've done now.
Are you expecting to have Joe Kelly available tonight?
Yeah, Joe is available tonight. He's here somewhere. I don't know what the corresponding move is going to be. It'll be one of the guys out of the pen. And certainly we have to make that decision here in the next couple hours.
With Joe in the fold now, does that change just how you manage the final 6 outs? Does that change anything as far as Evan in the 9th inning, or is it still the same plan that you had going into the season?
I think it's obviously Evan has sort of evolved into the closer, with the caveat that if we want to deploy him at any other time, we can still do that. I think it just adds another person that we feel confident can finish again.
Can you put him right into leverage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is Mookie going to be available tonight?
No, Mookie won't. But you can tell David Bell he's available.
Any clarity on Lynn's timeline?
Lance will be here tomorrow. I don't know when he'll be on the roster, active on the roster, and I don't know right now what day his start day is, but it's likely Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it's pretty safe.
Going back to Evan, so your preference is to, if you have a lead and it's going that direction, you prefer to have him in the 9th inning at this point, or?
Yeah. All things being equal, I would prefer to have Evan in the 9th inning, yes.
Gotcha.
Sorry, Beth, we started a little early.
Dave, where are you on that sort of scale of hope versus expectation with Daniel Hudson?
I'm more on the hope side. Want him around to be with the relievers, to keep his mind in it, to compete in it. But he's moving around well. So I still think we're in the hope stage. But hopefully when he can kind of get to the flat ground, moving, the expectation certainly is still at some point in time this year. I don't know what sometime this year means right now, but I think we're in the hope stage.
When you see Walker Buehler post on social media, throwing to hitters at Camelback, what does that say as far as what he could possibly do this year, if anything at all?
I do think that if all things continue to go well, it's a viable possibility. I think I didn't see the posting, but I guess I take that as a positive, if he wants to be a little bit more overt about it. So yeah, I mean, if we have him available in any capacity, that's a good thing for us.
Dave, where have you seen development from Evan since he debuted with you guys?
I think development, I think the one part I think we've seen is a better breaking ball and having to lean on the breaking ball a little bit more. I think he's probably been hit more. I know he's been hit more with the fastball than he ever has. So sometimes, most of the times, the hitters will tell you how you need to adjust. But I think for me, the biggest adjustment he's made is how he's handled some adversities. And I think for me, that's most important as far as on the development side.
With 2 months left in the regular season, how do you kind of see all these pieces taking place? Obviously, the light at the end of the tunnel, probably with Kershaw coming back, the trade acquisitions, etc. Your kind of thoughts for the last 2 months and how it's shaping up?
It's really shaping up well. I think if you look at the 26-man roster now, there's a lot of ways for us to certainly score runs and defend versus right, versus left. Versus the starter, versus potential pens. I think the bullpen right now has gotten a lot better. I think in the starters, certainly with adding Lance, adds a lot to our rotation as far as stability and upside. So where we were at, call it 2 weeks ago versus now, for me, it's certainly a grade better ball club.
Just going back to Emmett, I know it was kind of out of necessity that he came up here, and obviously he earned some extra stars, but how close is he to a finished product, and how much more work, how much more development needs to happen? Not that any pitcher's ever finished, but until he's the full Emmett.
There's a good bit of work that needs to be. He's not a finished product. He would be the first to say that. He was thrust into this position because of injuries and his performance, to his credit. But to go from AA to here, there's a lot of things of game management, sequencing, third time through, all this stuff, and better hitters that we've had to kind of throw them into the fire. So I think overall it's been a really good thing, and I expect tonight is going to be one of his better outings, given there's no surprises anymore. His tendencies have been shown to major league hitters as they prepare, but I still think that today's going to be a good one.
With Kershaw, I guess whether he throws next weekend in the majors or another sim game, he's going to be pretty much limited to 4 innings next time out. And if it's a situation where if he's okay with that, pitching in the major, you guys are okay with it?
We are, but that comes with some cost.
Sure.
And so I don't know. We don't know if that does happen. I don't know what day that would be, and certainly you'd have to have coverage and also appreciate what that means for the forthcoming days. So, but again, if Clayton feels good, we're going to support it, and we'll find a way to make it work.
So this week it'll be Lance, Julio, Tony in some order, starter-wise?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.